To order, it is 6:03 and we will establish quorum. Those present, Becky Stevenson, Joel Frederick, Dr. Lacey Gosh, and Dan Reinhardt, and myself, Donna Gillum. Those absent, Melissa Sartain and Clint Schott. Announcement that this meeting has been duly called and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.043 of the Texas Government Code. Is there any public participation?
Do not have any at this time.
At this time, we will go into closed session It is now 6:20 p.m. and the board is in closed session under the authority of the Texas Government Code Section 551.074. We are here to consider the complaint of Crystal Culp, parent. The grievance focuses on the posting of donated Ten Commandment posters in classrooms and a complaint regarding district communications. I am Donna Gillum, the board secretary. For the record, a quorum of the board is present. Each member of this board must decide whether he or she is able to serve as an impartial member for this grievance and arrive at a decision based solely upon information and documentation presented at this grievance presentation. Any member not able to act in such a manner may say so and ask to be excused. At this time, I will go one by one and ask each member to state their name and to affirm that they can act impartially in hearing the grievance.
Becky Stevenson, yes, I can.
Joel Frederick, yes I can.
Dan Reinhardt, yes I can.
Lacey Gosh, yes I can.
Donna Gillum, yes, I can. To provide the most accurate record of the proceedings, an audio recording is being made. Please avoid talking when others are speaking so that the recording will reflect the proceedings accurately. The recording of what is presented here tonight, the board packet that was shared with the parent prior to the board meeting, including Navarro ISD's policy, FNG, legal and local, the agenda, and the minutes for this meeting, once approved, will constitute the official record of this grievance. For the record, will the parent and anyone else with the parent please identify themselves through stating their name for the recording, and then once you are finished, will all members of the district's administration present for the complaint please identify themselves.
Crystal Culp.
David Kaufman.
Mandy Epley.
These are the procedures for this hearing. First, the parent will make her presentation. When finished, the administration will be permitted to make a reply. The parent and the administration are each allowed 15 minutes to complete their respective presentations. Tonight is a presentation of information, not a hearing where you question the other side. Neither side will question or cross-examine the other side or any board members. Within the specific timelines, the parent will make her presentation of what she wants the board to consider. The administration then will be given an opportunity to respond. While board members may ask questions of either party after both presentations are completed, the parties will not ask questions directly to one another. Will board member Dan Reinhardt please keep track of the time?
Yes.
After the parent and administration has completed their presentations, board members, you may then ask clarification questions of the parties as needed. Board members, I request that you refrain from interrupting or asking your questions until both sides have finished their presentation so that we can maintain an accurate record for the time used by each party. When all board members' questions have been addressed, each side, starting with the parent and then followed by the administration, will have 2 minutes to provide a rebuttal or closing statement if desired. Once those statements have been made, the grievance conference will be concluded. The board will then deliberate concerning who has been presented and what has been presented and return to open session to take possible action on the grievance. Are there any questions regarding the conduct of this hearing? Parent, you may now proceed with your presentation, and Dan Reinhardt will start with 15-minute timer.
For you.
Fantastic.
Right, whenever.
All right. Good evening. My name is Crystal. I stand here first and foremost as a mother with a child in Navarro ISD, a mother who cares deeply about her child's education, dignity, and freedom of conscience. I stand here as a woman who knows what it feels like to have her rights questioned and debated by those in power, and who understands how dangerous it becomes when authority decides what others must believe. I stand here as a veteran of the United States Navy, who spent more than a decade of my life serving this nation and defending the liberties that define it. During that service, I swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That oath still lives with me. It guides why I'm standing here tonight. because this board has violated the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution, the oath that each of you took, and the rights of the children you are meant to protect. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution states, Congress shall make no law representing an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Through the 14th Amendment Due Process Clause, that protection applies to every state and every public entity, including this school board. This issue has already been decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in Stone v. Graham. The court ruled that requiring the Ten Commandments to be posted in public classrooms is unconstitutional because it has no secular purpose and induces school children to read, meditate upon, and obey a religious text. That rule is binding law. Other landmark decisions reinforce the same principle. Engel v. Vitale, Abington v. Shemp, Wallace v. Jaffe. I can get into all of these if you'd like. Lee v. Wiseman, and the Santa Fe ISD v. Doe. Together, these rulings form the Lemon and endorsement test. Government actions must have a secular purpose, not advance or inhibit religion, and must avoid excessive entanglement between government and faith. Posting the Ten Commandments in classroom fails every part of this test. It advances one religion, entangles public schools with religious messaging, and lacks any secular purpose. By enforcing this, the Navarro ISD has broken federal constitutional law. The Texas Constitution. Texas law is even more explicit. Article 1, Section 6, Freedom of Worship. No preference shall ever be given by law to any religious society or mode of worship. Article 1, Section 7, Appropriations of Sectarian Purposes. No money shall be appropriated or spent for the benefit of any sect or religious denomination. Article 7, Section 1 directs every school district to maintain an efficient system of public free schools. Mixing sectarian doctrine into the classroom undermines that duty. Texas Education Code reinforces this obligation with Section 11.1511B1. Trustees must carry out the duties required by law. Section 11.1511B14. Trustees must ensure district policies are consistent with the law. Adopting a policy already ruled unconstitutional violates both duties. And your own oath. Your own oath of office set out in the Texas Constitution, Article 6, Section 1, and Government Code Section 602.001 requires that each of you swear, I will faithfully execute the duties of office and to the best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state. You cannot preserve, protect, or defend the Constitution while violating it. That's oath breaking, not oath keeping. Children's rights. Students are captive audiences. They cannot walk out, look away, or opt out. When the state places sacred scripture above their desk, that's coercion. Social, emotional, and psychological. The 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause forbids a state from favoring one over another. Texas Education Code 16.001 recognizes a parent's right to direct the moral and religious training over their own children. Title IV of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits religious discrimination in public education. By posting one religious text in every classroom, you violated all three. You taught some children that they belong more than others. That lesson is unconstitutional and unethical. I've heard the arguments that political pressure or higher offices have forced your hand. No directive, pressure, or political agenda overrides the U.S. Constitution, the Texas Constitution, or binding Supreme Court precedents. No order, directive, or political talking point from any elected official can erase Stone v. Graham, Santa Fe ISD v. Doe, Article 1, Section 6 and 7 of the Texas Constitution. The Supreme Court has already spoken on this issue, and when unconstitutional directives or political ambitions collide with settled law, the Constitution wins every time. The article that Texas was founded on God, which was in the package that I received. I have read this justification, and that is historically incomplete and legally irrelevant. Yes, many early Texans were believers. Many Texans are today. But the framers of the 1876 Texas Constitution deliberately inserted strict church and state separation because they have seen the harm of government-enforced religion. They wrote the words, "No preference shall ever be given by law to any religious society," precisely to prevent this. Nationally, our founders made the same choice. Jefferson, Madison, Washington, all warned that government religion corrupts both faith and state. They did not create a Christian theocracy, they created a republic grounded in liberty of conscience. That liberty protects believers and non-believers alike. And even though the Ten Commandment posters themselves were donated, public funds and resources were still used to install them. District employees, teachers, maintenance staff, paid with taxpayer money were required to hang religious displays. That is state action in support of religion. Under Article 1, Section 7 of the Texas State Constitution, no public money or resources may be used for the benefit of any sect or religious denomination. Using employee time and salaries to install sectarian materials is a Constitution violation. It also placed teachers in a position where they were required as agents of the state to take part in a religious endorsement they may not personally share. That compromises both their conscience and the district's legal standings. Texas Education Code Section 44.002 allows expenditures only for lawful educational purposes. Directing employees to perform unconstitutional tasks is not a lawful purpose. It is misuse of public resources and a breach of fiduciary duty. Under the Texas Code 11.151b, trustees are officers of the state. 11.056 provides that misconduct or neglect of duty is grounds for removal from office. When public officials knowingly violate the law or show contempt towards constituents, raising legitimate constitutional concerns, that is misconduct. That behavior violates the spirit of public service and the ethical standards that this district should embody. You cannot call yourselves public servants when you're breaking the law knowingly. The rights and humanity of our children. This is not an abstract legal debate. These are real children sitting in real classrooms under your authority. They come from Christian families, Jewish families, Muslim families, Hindu families, atheist families, and families that are still figuring it out. And every one of them deserves to feel safe and equal in school. A public school's role is to teach, not to preach, is to open minds, not to close them. When the district chooses a single faith to enshrine on classrooms' walls, it teaches that acceptance depends on conformity. That lesson undermines everything education stands for. Each of you promised to uphold the Constitution. When you ignore settled law, you break that promise. I know what an oath means. I took one too. To defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath did not end when my service ended. It did not expire when I came home. It's still active in me tonight. I defended it abroad, and now I'm defending it here at home. This is not about religion versus secularism. This is about the rule of law versus personal preference. This is about oath keeping versus oath breaking. This is about whether this board will choose accountability or arrogance. You have the opportunity to correct this, to rescind this policy, to comply with both constitutions, respect the faiths and freedoms of every family in this district, and show our students what integrity looks like. I am not here to attack anyone's faith. I am here to defend everyone's freedom, and that includes yours. As a mother, I want my children to learn, not to be indoctrinated. As a veteran, I want to see the freedoms I defended honored here at home. As a citizen, I want this district to remember that the Constitution is not optional, it is the law of the land. My oath to defend still stands, and I'm asking you, respectfully, to remember yours. Thank you.
Thank you. The administration may now proceed with their reply.
Do I stand here more? Do you want me to sit? Like,
No, he's gonna present, and then you'll get 2 minutes to come back.
All right, good to go. So good evening, Secretary Gilliam, trustees, Superintendent Epley, Mrs. Culp. My name is David Kaufman, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources and School Leadership in Navarro ISD. In this capacity, I play an active role in responding to new legislation and updating district policies. Thank you for this opportunity to address the concerns raised in this complaint filed under the district's FNG policy. And thank you, Mrs. Culp, for your civic engagement and your advocacy regarding the constitutional rights of students, families, and staff. And thank you on this eve of Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
thank you.
In my remarks, I'm going to provide a timeline of Navarro ISD's response to Senate Bill 10's 10 Commandments mandate, and then respond to each of the remedies requested in the complaint. Senate Bill 10 went into effect on September 1 after being passed by the 89th Texas Legislature and signed into law by the governor. Senate Bill 10 mandates that all public elementary and secondary school classrooms display the 10 Commandments if posters meeting certain specific criteria are donated. The text of Senate Bill 10 is on pages 23 to 25 of your packet. The first week of September, each of our schools received a bundle of 30 posters that met the criteria of SB 10. The documents that accompany the donation are on pages 40 to 44 of your packets. On September 4, our district leadership met to finalize plans for implementation of the state mandate and communication to families and staff. On September 5, our Director of Communications sent a message to families which included information about SB 10, notification that we had received donated posters, reference to a federal district court injunction that applies only to districts named in a particular lawsuit, and specifics of how our schools will be addressing SB 10. This message is on pages 36 to 38 of your packet. A message also went to all staff, including the same information plus more details about how the posters would be distributed. This message is on pages 33 to 35. The messages to parents and to staff both stated, "We understand that personal beliefs and opinions will vary. It is important to note that this is a state-mandated display. The law does not require or authorize any instructional time to be dedicated to the content of the posters. The posters are for passive display only and are not part of the school curriculum." The message to staff also explicitly directed teachers to please refrain from providing any instruction, commentary, or curriculum-related activities regarding the 10 Commandments posters. Both messages indicated that if students have questions, teachers should explain that the posters are required by law and encourage students to speak about the issue directly with their parents at home. On September 29, the agenda for the Navarro ISD School Board meeting included a discussion of SB 10. There was some discussion by the board and no public comments about this item. On October 1, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sent a memo to Texas school districts dated September 26, emphasizing that with the exception of the 11 school districts subject to a federal court injunction, all other school districts in Texas are currently required to display the 10 Commandments in classrooms in accordance with state law. The memo went on to say that the Office of the Attorney General will closely monitor compliance in coordination with the Texas Education Agency, and that any school district not in compliance is subject to legal action taken by his office. This memo is in your packet on pages 29 to 30. On October 9, the author of SB 10, Senator Mays Middleton, sent a letter to Texas school districts stating that the law requiring the display of the 10 Commandments is not optional and not a suggestion, and that any school district that attempts to skirt these laws will be held responsible and made to comply with the letter of the law. This letter is on page 31. The administration's response has been and continues to be the district displayed the posters in compliance with state law. Teachers were specifically directed to refrain from providing any instruction, commentary, or curriculum-related activities regarding them, and that the district will comply with any court decisions that pertain to this law. Our intention is that the SB 10 requirement that we display donated posters will not distract us from our core mission, which focuses on preparing our students for the future through high-quality academic and extracurricular programming in a strong, welcoming community. I want to again thank Mrs. Culp for her communication regarding Senate Bill 10. I will now respond to the remedies requested in the complaint. On September 4, Mrs. Culp emailed Principal Schwartzlosey with questions and comments about the district's response to Senate Bill 10. I'm not going to talk about the remedies just yet. Mrs. Culp subsequently sent the comments directly to me. I indicated that we would be sending a message to all families soon and offered a phone call to discuss it. After the district message went to families on September 5, I verified that Mrs. Culp had received it and again offered to speak with her directly. On September 5, she sent an email to me and sent to all board members and me. The first requested remedy is to pause implementation and suspend all 10 Commandments displays pending final resolution of litigation. The administration recommends denying this request. Non-compliance with the state law could result in legal action against the board and district by the Attorney General's office, with significant distractions from our core mission and possible consequences for individual district employees. The second requested remedy is to add a prominent neutrality disclaimer beside each display, clarifying the district does not endorse religion. The administration recommends denying this request. The district is limiting our actions to compliance with the law and prohibiting related instruction, commentary, or curriculum-related activities. Posting a neutrality disclaimer would draw more attention to the posters and thus away from the curriculum being taught. The third requested remedy is to adopt a content-neutral wall display policy. We understand this to mean that the district would agree to display all donated posters, not just the 10 Commandments posters required by SB 10. The administration recommends denying this request. If we were to agree to display other donated posters, it is possible that we would have multiple donations that would crowd our classroom walls and distract students and teachers from the curriculum. Additionally, it would be impossible to be fully content neutral, as we would have to ensure that donated posters are age appropriate and are not obscene, profane, or otherwise unsuitable for a classroom. Our approach has been to post the donated posters as required by law. We disagree that Navarro ISD is only permitting one religious perspective to be displayed, or that the district language goes beyond compliance by framing the 10 Commandments as the only allowable religious text. The only factor influencing the district's display of donated posters is the state law requiring it. We recommend that constitutional questions be directed to the Texas legislature, not to Navarro ISD. The fourth requested remedy is to recognize written public comments as fully equal to in-person comments. We recommend acknowledging that all public comments are important, whether in writing or in person. We do not see a need to compare the two. I do want to highlight one advantage of in-person comments at a board meeting. While the board has procedures and processes to ensure that the public can communicate with the full board of trustees, electronically or on paper, those comments are received by trustees individually instead of as a corporate body, and trustees are not legally allowed to reply all or otherwise communicate about these comments as a group. In contrast, when a public comment is made in person at a board meeting, the trustees are convened with a quorum and hear the comment as a corporate body. They're allowed to ask the speaker for clarification about their comment. If the comment is related to a posted agenda item for that meeting, the board is legally allowed to publicly discuss the issue. They can even discuss the public comment itself. This is just one advantage of in-person comments. But again, both types of comments are important. I want to also note that in compliance with Senate Bill 12, Navarro ISD has developed an internet portal through which parents of students enrolled in the district may submit written comments to the board or to campus or district administrators. And we hope that will facilitate better communication from parents like Mrs. Culp instead of sending an email to each board member. The fifth requested remedy is to issue clarification that written engagement is valid participation. We recommend granting this request because we do think the board agrees that written engagement is valid participation. The final remedy requested in this complaint is to provide all donor communications, legal opinions, and staff directives regarding SB 10. The administration notes this remedy has already been granted because we have provided all the requested information, of which I referred to tonight and is in your packet. So thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the administration. And again, thank you for Mrs. Culp for your engagement and advocacy. And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, any board member who wishes now may question the parties for clarification of any fact, issue, or request for relief. Does anyone have any questions for either party?
Ms. Culp, in the beginning of your talk, you mentioned a Texas constitutional article. What was that number, please?
Which one? Article 1, Section 6 or Article 1, Section 7?
The very first one you mentioned. I did not write it down.
Section 6, freedom of worship.
All right, thank you.
If I don't hear any more questions, if not, we will proceed. Parent, you now have 2 minutes to provide any concluding comments for the board's consideration.
I know that you all are in a difficult position, and I recognize that. But the Attorney General, or a state officials, period, but specifically talking about the Attorney General, his opinions are not law, they're interpretations. They do not override the U.S. Constitution, the Texas Constitution, or binding Supreme Court precedents. Even the Texas Attorney General own website says that their opinions are advisory only and not legally binding on courts, public officials, or private citizens. I understand that you guys are also threatened with legal proceedings, but if you continue with this, you are still threatened under legal proceedings. How many lawsuits are already against the state of Texas for doing this? How many lawsuits are already being implemented against school boards and schools just for this? You will spend more money in litigation, period, than just doing what is right from the beginning. Please don't be the board that will be remembered for turning classrooms into pulpits, but instead be remembered as the board who keeps in classrooms and keeps the children safe. That's all.
Thank you. Administration, you now have 2 minutes for any concluding comments.
I just really want to thank again Mrs. Cole for raising the issues and for her passionate defense of our students and staff and our families' constitutional rights. And I know that as a school district, we value all the rights and the obligations that we have under the Constitution. I just want to say that we're not taking a stand on the value of SB 10. We are simply defending the district's compliance with the law that we've been ordered to follow. And that the lawsuits that have been filed, that the district will comply with any changes in guidance as a result of any of the lawsuits that are in process right now. But in the meantime, we're planning to follow the law. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes the grievance presentation regarding the grievance filed by the parent. With respect to the grievance, the board may vote to grant the appeal, which means that we believe the complaint is valid and that the parent should be granted the relief requested. Alternatively, the board may vote to deny the grievance, which means that we believe the parent should be denied the relief requested of this board. As another alternative, we can vote to grant in part and deny in part any or all of the parent complaints or the requested remedies. Throughout the decision-making process, the board will consider only the parent's complaint presentation and the administration's response presented tonight at this meeting, as well as the documents in the record presented to us. We will return to open session to make our decision. Prior to that time, I ask both the parent and the administration presenting to exit so that we can hold our discussion. So if you will kindly exit. We are back on the record in open session, having returned from closed session. The time is now 7:36 p.m. Does any board member have a motion regarding the grievance presented by the parent?
I move that we uphold the 6 remedy decisions by administration.
Second.
There was a motion made by Dr. Lacey Gosh and seconded by Dan Reinhardt. Now we will go into discussion.
I would just like to say that we love the heart behind the opportunity, what you did here. We are thankful for you bringing attention to some of the stuff we need to get better at. This is a difficult topic, and just thank you for your guts to stand up there. And we know it took a lot, and so just thank you. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for what you're doing. And yeah, we'll work on getting better too.
Any other comments or discussion?
Actually, can I? I know that this is a really difficult situation for everybody, so I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to speak tonight, even though I was a little late, and just listening to me. I know that none of it is easy, and there's no ill will here. Like, I love this school and what it does for my son and the teachers and the support that you guys give, so there is no ill will here. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now proceed to vote. I will call each member's name and we'll say how you will vote. Becky Stevenson.
In favor.
Joel Frederick.
In favor.
Dr. Lacey Gosh.
In favor.
Dan Reinhardt.
In favor.
Donna Gillum. In favor. The motion passes 5-0. Thank you all for your cooperation, and this grievance matter is concluded. The meeting is now adjourned at 7:38 p.m.